Land O'Lakes, Spanish Sweet Creek. Land O'Lakes.
Why? It's not good. It's better. It's got more spirit. More spirit.
Diamond. You're the only one who was there.
I mean, only the officer at hand knew what he was thinking when he was transferred from a different state to come to Minnesota. When he was transferred from a different state to come to Minnesota.
More spirit.
To come to Minnesota.
More spirit.
To come to Minnesota. More spirit.
And I just feel like at the end of the day, there has to be justice served. Minnesota is a state where everyone comes together.
Minnesota.
Land O'Lakes, Spanish Sweet Creek.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin with that deadly explosion at a school in Minneapolis, ripping it in half, trapping people inside.
I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain.
The fire appears to be fed by a gas line, a ruptured gas line. Crews that were able to put water on the fire and get that out. And we've also been attempting to search for and rescue any possible victims. We did pull 3 people off the roof so far, and we also still have 3 people who are unaccounted for, who we are searching for in the collapsed portion at this time.
3 people off the roof, what do you mean?
There were 3 people up on the roof that needed help getting down off the roof.
What were they doing on the roof?
I cannot tell you that.
Land O'Lakes, Spanish Sweet Creek.
We had some people stuck on the roof. We were looking for ladders, so it was pretty intense.
Well, did you see what kind of injuries? Were people severely hurt?
Yeah, there was one lady on the roof who was bleeding from a few different places. Looked like glass. We asked her. That's when we, seeing how badly she was hurt. But she did have 2 other staff up there with her that were debris covered but didn't seem as injured. And we started asking them, is there anybody else up there with you? And they were confirming that there were other people up there that they didn't have an accounting for and things like that. And so that's that whole area that we were in. They actually escaped out of a broken window onto the roof. They couldn't get down the stairs, so it was pretty intense.
The people on the roof that we're hearing about, were they construction workers or were they school employees?
They were school employees. No, she dressed, had her business suit on, business dress on, and was on the 2nd floor. They were all here working, had their name tags and the whole 9 yards.
On top of the roof, though?
Yep. That's the only way I don't know if the stairway was blocked or whatever they did, but they came out of that window and were right where that ladder is.
Through the rubble, looking for survivors.
Just saw a great big hole.
They learned people were trapped in the rubble.
I also spoke with a man who escaped through a window and got on the roof. We also spoke
with a woman, a school counselor who is 7 months pregnant. Here's their story.
It's surreal. It was the grace of God.
Charlie Peterson, one of the 3 people rescued from the roof of Minnehaha Academy.
I was in a meeting and on an outside-facing office, and somebody came in and said, "There's a gas leak. You have to get out." And a second later, there was an explosion in the hallway. It came through the inner office. It came into our office. Blew out the windows. I got under the conference table, and the ceiling came down. And then we got out the windows onto the roof, which is right there, and then about 15 minutes later or so, they were finally able to get ladders up to us.
Minnehaha Academy President Donna Harris was in her office on the 2nd floor when it happened.
I was interviewing someone and got a tap on the door that we needed to get out of the building, and I took one step in my office, there was just a huge explosion.
The force knocked her shoes off and threw her back.
The force knocked her shoes off and threw her back. The force knocked her shoes off and threw her back.
Somehow my shoes were no longer on my feet, and all 3 of us were beginning to cough because the debris was, somehow my shoes were no longer on my feet, and all 3 of us were beginning to cough because the debris was,
Somehow my shoes were no longer on my feet, and all 3 of us were beginning to cough because
it's just such a shock. I think you're just in survival mode.
Smoke was everywhere. The windows were blown out. Harrison, the man she was interviewing, who she had just met, grabbed hands and walked to the ledge so that firefighters could help them down. She looked back at what was left of her office.
To know that space was gone, I just was in shock, literally in shock.
Harris was taken to the hospital and released. She was worried there might have been students in that part of the building studying.
I was tremendously grateful to God that we did not have students in the building, and I wish we had not had adults in the building.
There was that interpretation of that photo where she was being carried, and then we saw her back at the prayer vigil last night, and someone, and I don't recall who it was, said, "That is the picture of a leader."
Yeah.
Yeah, got that right. Yeah, got that right.
Yeah, got that right.